everyone, and welcome to another video. In today's video, I have something really cool. Today I will be making a custom cloak for a client of mine. They asked me to do this because they didn't want to have to get different Halloween costumes every year, and so they're like, I'm just gonna be a wizard for Halloween every year. And honestly, I'm about that life because I don't have the time or the money to go out every single year and buy a new Halloween costume. So honestly, just sticking with one won't hurt anyone. And my kitten wanted to be my assistant today, but he wasn't a very good one. As you can tell, he just wanted to be lazy and not help me out. It took me about 5 hours to prep everything, and that includes the exact measurements I need for this cloak to work. After cutting out all the stencils, I decided to use clear packing tape to cover both sides of the parchment paper to prevent them from ripping when I outline it all onto the leather. I don't want any form of defects or anything in the parchment paper. If it does rip or something happens to it, I want to make sure everything is precise. And now it's time for me to outline all the stencils onto the leather cowhides. I had to use root beer cans to hold down the stencil, especially on the larger ones, because the tape made the stencils move around a lot, and so I just wanted to make sure it didn't shift while I was outlining, so I had to put something down, but at the same time I had to put something down that I can easily move around, so the cans were kind of my best bet. I also did most of the work on my kitchen floor because it was the only area I could barricade myself without any of my animals getting in the way or even tearing down our doors, because I knew I couldn't even lock myself in a room, and so that was my best bet, to just barricade myself with our trash can and a few chairs. Honestly, I feel like it took longer than 5 hours just because of how long it took me to edit this first part of the video. So it definitely took longer, but it was time for me to start stitching all the panels together. For the large panels that make the base of the cloak, I had to cut in 2 parts because there wasn't enough leather hide for me to cut out a whole big piece. So I had to cut it in sections, but that also gave me enough room to measure out longer length because this customer is taller and the original size of this cloak will be much shorter for him, so I have to alter it so that it actually fits his height. I would always run between stitching some areas, then back to putting the cloak together. I just wanted to make sure that none of it falls apart while I'm working on it, so it was a lot of going back and forth. I also used double-sided sticky tape to temporarily tack down areas before I stitched it together. That also saved me a lot instead of gluing, and thank goodness the sticky stuff really helped this process. I used the different colored hides to make the cloak because I knew that just one hide wasn't going to be enough for this thing, so I kind of made a pattern with the colors of the leather. I used the more lighter colors, or the ones that looked closer in color, or they were from the same hide, whether it was stenciled out and cut out. I would use them in certain areas. The darker leather, I would kind of highlight other areas of the cloak, just so that it kind of brings it out a little bit more and isn't really messy, even though that could also be a look. But I kind of wanted this to actually look handmade, and you know, like the person made a handmade leather cloak. I don't know. Now, I get questions in the comments mostly about this, but people ask me how much this costs. The customer did provide the leather to me, so he purchased the leather himself and gave it to me. So that deducted that cost off of what it would have originally been. The starting price is $500, and $300 goes towards getting supplies such as leather or any of the other materials that you would need to make a custom cloak or something similar to this. And then for a custom cloak, starting price is $200, and it goes up from there as well, depending on what add-ons you want to add, either if you want a belt or a hood, you know, if you want to make it into a jacket instead. That's just kind of the startup cost of everything. I do have to, again, get material, but like I said, this guy had his material. The most I had to purchase was stencil, and I just used thread, and so that was already added into the price point of making the cloak. The more leather I added to the cloak, the heavier it got. So I was pretty worried that it was going to be very heavy once I finished with this. Like, even trying to stitch it was a nightmare because I had the whole cloak on my lap while trying to stitch it. And so there's like a mountain on my lap while I'm trying to look over it to see little stitch lines be created by the machine. So that was fun. All in all, it was very successful and he was very happy with it. I did have to take it back at least one time because I did get the sleeves in the wrong position. I did read the instructions on the stencil, but for some reason it was still off. Like, I triple checked everything to make sure it was perfect, but not to worry, it was a quick and easy fix. But other than that, he really liked it. I really liked the sleeves. The one thing that I was very proud of was I created the sleeves all on my own just by using my arms and then my boyfriend's arms, because his arms are bulkier than mine, so it's much easier to do it on him as well too. So yeah, the stencil didn't have any like sleeve stencils, so I just decided to try and make it myself, and it ended up working. I also conditioned the leather and treated it just so that it doesn't dry out fast, and it's all nice and ready to go for him. He also had an event that he wore the cloak to, so that was very exciting to already see my work out there as soon as he got it back. I really like the sleeves. I think that was kind of the best part for me because I kind of created that on my own since the stencil didn't really have sleeves. So I really like the sleeves and the big hood. I think those were my favorite parts. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and please subscribe to my channel because I am trying to grow it. And I also opened up a website, so go check it out. It's Jtleathercrafter. Jtleathercrafter.com, and I will also have a link to it down below where you can ship your items directly to me so that it's just easier if you are out of state or even in Colorado and you're up north, farther away from me or something, you can ship your items to me as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.